Hello. How are we doing? Alright, let me check the sound. Sounds good. Hey, what's up, Aria? How are you doing? Let me get all set up here. Wow. You were right on time today. You really want that dollar. So what am I doing today? Well, let me turn down the volume of my music so that I can talk. This is pretty... Arya's always right on time. Yeah, that's true. Hey, what's up, Carrie? How are you doing? I've got the suspicious code right here. So apparently the switch case that they use to update is fine because apparently branch prediction is a thing, I guess. I don't know. I feel like I'm a bit hot on the mic today. So let me turn that down a bit. So this is the code. I don't really know if I'm going to be able to pull off exactly what they do, to be 100% honest with you. It is pretty convoluted what they do. So basically what they do is they have a massive UBO. If I can find it's honestly, it's very hard to search their code base, to be honest, but there was this. Is it here? No, this is STD 430. There's a 140 around here somewhere, probably. Basically, so what they do, how they do it and pull it off, is that they basically have a massive UBO with all of their global uniforms. Yeah, this. But how they're able to actually index it via uniforms is that every time they load a shader, apparently, I don't actually know if this is true. I honestly asked an LLM because I was so confused. Apparently, they inject define statements with the offsets. So for example, they'll inject this when upon like shader load. They inject like a define here with like, you know, camera matrix and then the offset or whatever in the array, right? So that they're able to actually get that data. I don't really understand how it works, to be 100% honest. I've been trying to figure it out, but to be honest, the code base is pretty like insanely massive. either way, it's going to be really hard for me to implement it. They do 430s too. They also have different UBOs for like scene data and stuff. I probably don't need to anyway. Yeah, I agree. But I think like the switch case was fine then. Yeah, it was. I draw isometric tile at the end. When I deleted tile, do we have to reload all tile? Depends what how they're stored, I guess. Usually what I do with, you know, buffers in C is that when I remove something, I shift everything over. It's like a typical way of doing it. You could also like mark the start and end of where a tile, like a tile block basically, and then yeah, exactly. The funny bug. Yeah, it was the funny bug. But unless you have pointers to that memory somewhere else, then it might be a bit tricky. Oh, I have caps lock on. Okay, so I'm probably not going to do this, but I thought that it would be a bit, I don't know, educational to talk about it a bit. I don't know, honestly, looking at the Godot code base was so depressing. Like, I instantly, like, once I started going through it, it was like, I got really bummed out, man. But it's okay. I mean, I am just a solo developer, but like it also was pretty funny because honestly, so many points in their code is basically doing the same thing that I do. Maybe they do it like a little bit more efficient or with a bit more abstraction, but it is pretty why? I mean, it's a bit demotivating for me to see like something else that does what I do better, you know what I mean? Even if my engine is a bit weirder or more specific, at the end of the day, their way of doing all of this shader injection and all of these advanced techniques, it's always going to be baseline faster and more efficient than I'll be able to do it. Even if my baking light map stuff, you know, is more advanced, I guess. I don't know. It was pretty... Okay, so also something, we're going to be getting rid of these. Something I also realized in their code is how they do this, and we're going to be getting rid of this, and it's going to be very complicated. So just like materials, we are going to have a JSON for Vertex layouts. Well, at the end of the day, if you have no performance issue on your engine and feel like it's flexible enough, that's 100% fine. Yeah, I agree. I guess. I don't know. I guess it where it comes down to is like a bit of I don't know, just feeling like I'm not a real developer or whatever because I don't write code like this, you know? It's just very, very, very neat and efficient, you know? They even have, like, imaginary parts to some of their vectors. Like, are they really FFTing stuff? Like, or what? I don't know. Anyway, I have to figure out what we're doing here. So I decided that if a user wants to load in their own Vertex layout for VAOs, then we're gonna have to pack it somehow, and then all of our Vertex buffers are gonna become generic. So what I mean by that is that last stream I made this, we should also zoom out, I kind of forget to do that. So we did this last time, which was abstracting all of our VAOs and attributes, but I kind of realized that this isn't a good way to do it, because now users can actually make their own VAO layouts. So because basically what we were doing was I had an enum here that I don't know where it is, to be honest, but it's an enum that the point of the enum was over here. We had a vertex type that basically aligns these vertex layouts so that we know what VAO to bind, right? And instead this is just going to be this now, and this is going to be decided by the right. I have layout here, right? So this is going to be a part of the material, and also we have here, we have the VAO index, so this is going to link. It's kind of complicated, but yeah, so when we load in materials, we link it to a layout. That layout, when we read the JSON, we then bind the IDX index to the program in our master array of layouts, and then whenever that shader is used in a render group, then we just bind the VAO index here, so that the render call ends up just being like bind VAO VAOs index, right? So it becomes that. But yeah, so we need another JSON parser for that. I guess we could just keep it in C as well, but I don't know. Yeah, so all of this is going to have to basically change. I think the easiest way to do this is to go into our VAO bindings thing and then just, well, we actually still need a can't we? Yeah, this is just going to become the Vertex format. Really delving into abstractions here. I mean, I think that it had to happen eventually. Because I don't really want... I guess the idea was for this engine to be able to be used without having to write C, is my goal. You know, that you just are able to call it from a scripting language and like JSONs or whatever. But I actually kind of find this stuff kind of fun because it's this can be now a vertex layout. What? Vertex format. we're gonna call this a layout, because that matches my other stuff. It'd be nice if you could still call it with C for speed, just because not many engines let you code in pure C. Well, everything is just a layer over C, right? So I still have all of these functions that create new VAO binding and create new attributes. So this stuff is always going to be a thing. So you could definitely do that. But the idea is, at least for this, to automate it so that we read in from JSON what the layout is, and therefore, you know, I think I'm just going to do it with plain calls right now though. But I think the reason why I want to do it with JSON is because it needs to be tied to the material, and the materials are all in JSON because they need to be. You know, like this stuff would be kind of annoying to hard code in C, and having it like this means that we can make something with the GUI, make a new material with the editor GUI, and then save it without having, you know. And so this now is going to have linked here format. It was geometry, whatever the default geometry Vertex format is, but then this is going to have to link to a different JSON file. I already kind of thought about doing it inline, but it doesn't make sense at all. But you can't have logic in JSON, right? You won't be able to use it as a scripting language. No, but I have like API kind of endpoints in quotation marks built in, especially for the GUI now, that are already kind of exposed. If I want to like add in Lua or whatever later, that can all happen, because right now I have it so that all of these global variables are exposed here. All I have to do is make, you know, callbacks for all of these, and then you can just, you know, call whatever this is, and it automatically goes to a global variable that we have, right? These are the resolutions for our FBOs and stuff. Or here's, you know, quit, different animations and stuff. And I think that this might be the part of it that I just keep in C. I think that might have to happen, because all of this logic, I think that this might be what the user has to put in C, because, for example, choose option, this callback function. If you want your own callback function for UI, for like a special animation that you want to do, then you 100%. I don't really know how the whole scripting language stuff works in terms of using what I exposed, but I'm assuming that it would be pretty hard to inject a callback function. Or maybe it's just not possible, but yeah, so this is what you would code. You would code basically a callback function here, and then down here would bind it. And this is kind of like basically a scriptable entity component system, but kind of more open-ended, right? Because this is going to be kind of the same thing for entities, I imagine it. Like, on some event happening, we execute this code, right? That's basically what this does. A hover callback is on a hover event, we call this code. When that ends, we start calling this code, you know? And so that was my idea for making kind of event loops that a user would be able to make themselves. And It's going to be very difficult to implement though. You know, it's going to take a while. Create new VAO binding. Globals binding. Did I change that? We're not going to resize this right now, so we'll just keep this. Oh, actually, we did already make a... Right, so this abstraction is, we have all of our layouts here. Inside here, when we read in from the JSON, we allocate however many attributes we find, and then we fill them up with these things. I think that these are all integers. I'm kind of wondering if I want the name on the layout, and I think I'm going to do that, so... Just so that we don't have to, like, go back and forth when saving later. Okay, so yeah, this is obviously gonna have to all change. Oh, I wanted to do a divisor too, but I didn't know how to store this. Index. So we don't need an index then inside of it, so it's just probably glint divisor. GLUint. Hey, what's up, Alex? How are you doing? Yeah, I think this is all of the stuff. So, we're gonna call this initialize default VAOs. We're gonna call it this. This is gonna be hard-coded. We can make the JSON parser after, but I want to make this first. So this we already did this. Binding VAO. Do I have the VAO? Yeah, I do. Yeah, this is fine. It's gonna be this. You need a struct here. I know I'm making a lot of structs here, but I think that it's necessary. You need a struct here. You need something here that has the buffer. I almost thought that I was coding in Rust, so I almost did a U size for whatever reason. I think that this is correct. And then inside of here you have... Okay. So this is going to be all of our draw buffers now. Hold on, let me take my sweater off. It is hot. Because if users are going to make their own Vertex layouts, then we can't just have our own predefined struct layouts. We kind of have to just make them a byte buffer. So if we're initializing our default ones, that means we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 apparently. Okay, so I'm just going to create a size T to remember it. I should really just make a pointer to it, I guess. What was this called again? I should do 2. Hey, what's up, Sever? Siver? This is the Vertex formats. Yeah, we're gonna free it because this might be called unmapload. Am I creating a game alongside the engine? That's the goal. Eventually, it is kind of a an ever, making it bigger and bigger though. This engine. My idea was like a 3D horror RPG. With a lot of gore and kind of a darker story. I love horror, so it's probably going to be horror related, but not like the typical horror game, more psychological, but far away from actually making it. But I enjoy just going live and coding. I almost reallocated. 100% have to change this name. I forgot that we were changing that. Just started on the engine, or has it been in the works for a while now? I've been doing it for about 3 months now, 4 months. It pretty much is just the thing that I do now, you know? So I'd say I've put quite a few hours into it. It is kind of my baby. Are you a developer as well? How long until AI replaces all devs? 3 years? I would wager never. But hey, what's up, Rob? Yeah, I'm a computer science student, but I are currently also working on an engine in C and OpenGL. Oh, that's awesome. I've been really enjoying it. My engine is not the most efficient. Like, I have been going over the Godot source code, you know, and getting a bit depressed about it. But feel free to join our Discord. We have a few resources and stuff about it. Which do you think better, making engine with all feature and developing game, or making game alongside with hacks and add features when needed? I don't know if I'm the best person to... Depends. I'm really fascinated about making engines. Hey Lloyd, what's up? I'm really fascinated about just making engines. I'd consider myself more of a programmer than like a game developer, I guess, if that makes sense. So I don't know if I'm the best person to answer the question. Okay, so now we are just going to get the straight buffer. I'm kind of slow today. So we're gonna pass that in here, and it's just going to be a generic it's just going to be a rolling counter. I don't even think that we need this wrapper. I think that we just go straight into it. If I can... Should have this in a split. I haven't really been thinking about it. Okay, so... Yeah, I'm in the middle of a huge refactor here. We're trying to make kind of automated Vertex layouts for anyone who uses the engine to be able to make their own kind of buffer layouts for any geometry or whatever. It is a bit painful though, because we have to manually do some of this stuff. I think we count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that we have to count up per each one. Do you find AI helps me program? I have used LLMs like sparingly when I'm really confused about something or I can't find good resources. But as far as using it and trusting it to write like in a code base this big, it's pretty useless. I think once you hit the 5,000 plus line mark, it kind of can't really understand a code base, so it's pretty... That's kind of why we still need engineers. So let's just malloc based on the count. We need a... No, it's a trib count. I forgot about that. I'm in a weird position of choosing to continue as a web dev on a pretty large company with good terms, or go into a machine learning startup which has funding, though I'm not sure if I will have the same growth. What would you do? I'm not sure what I would do, to be honest. I'm kind of an artist, jack of all trades type of guy. I've never had a programming job, so I've programmed as a hobby for the past 8 years, so I'm not sure what I would do. I think that as far as what I've heard, though, web development has a lot of layoffs, and I don't know, machine learning AI seems to be a pretty big field. So this editor is Helix. Thanks for asking. You can get my theme with !theme in the chat. But I mean, also just do whatever you join. If you really enjoy web development, then like do that. You know, it's whatever makes you happy. Yeah, this is kind of annoying because you literally have to. Oh man. We're just going to have to actually index this by hand and set all of this up. Hopefully once we set this up, then we can just copy it all the way down, but yeah, this is kind of painful. The byte size we were going to calculate. The byte size is size times the amount of bytes as the type. That's kind of annoying. That's kind of annoying, yeah. I can calculate that at the end, yeah. This is very easy to do. It's always going to be 0 pretty much. The index is 0. Oh. Bad at math or just not as good as math? Oh, you're bad at math? I'm pretty bad at math, trust me. The current development in AI, I personally think web devs will be gone in a few years. I don't really know about that. I think that it's always going to be humans that need to figure things out. If AI replaces everybody, then everything is just going to be predictions. So, yeah. that if that truly becomes a reality, then we lived in a completely doomed world for sure. Imagine if everything was just predictive, you know, and there's no spontaneous, no creation in the world. God, put a bullet in my head if that's the case. Is the offset actually calculated, or is that just the... Oh yeah, so that's the size of... Yeah. Yeah, sleep is great. Sleep is great. Yeah, I haven't listened to Slow Dive in a long time, but I used to like this when I was a teenager. Pretty much all of these are going to be the exact same thing. I'm just making sure that I set this up correctly. Alright, the size isn't... The size is the entire thing. We aren't going to use this function anymore. Well... Actually, I think that we need to actually call this. But we can call it with an already defined vertex layout. And then get rid of all of this, I guess. Want to serve your work, search off of all that can solve science problems that humans working on machine learning projects, data pipeline engines. Yeah, I mean, as long as we if we like stay realistic about like what AI is capable of, then yeah, 100%. It's pretty useful. What is the size T size? Size is the entire thing. And then the byte size is the amount. And what is the amount? Index, offset. I don't store it. So I would have to actually store that. Oh no, it's the stride. Uh-huh. Okay, I'm pretty sure that it's the stride then. Okay. So we're just going to replace all of this. You know, I kind of wish that there was just a way for us to just... We can do current and then just do layout here. There isn't really a good way to do this though, not going to lie. And try this. Hey, what's up, Luke? My keyboard, I made it myself. I do have a video on my channel from a very long time ago about it. But yeah, it's I don't really remember the switches, but it is a Tofu 60. I'm not a full-time dev and no C. I guess. Wait, hold on. Am I being dumb here? Yeah, I'm being really dumb. This is taking in a tribute, not a layout. It's my day job or career path. I've worked pretty much in restaurants my entire life as a dishwasher, etc. I've kind of had a crazy life. I've lived all over the US. Maybe because of my bipolar disorder, but I appreciate all the compliments though. Trip current trip. This is the index. I am 24. So yeah, I'm not like super young either, so don't get intimidated by it at all. This has to be stride. Right? GL int. No, the stride is the thing at the end instead of size. I guess that is supposed to be size. Okay. Makes sense, I guess. I guess I just look online and I see a quite a lot of young developers nowadays. This is gonna be the stride. The offset is the same. Okay. So we don't actually need the amount at all. I didn't even make it, but yeah. I'm sure I made a typo here. I'm pretty sure. This abstraction is like kind of useless, but we're just gonna call that with this. Should still push yourself and go in as a full-time systems dev. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've always been very intimidated about contributing to open source projects and stuff, but I don't know, my kind of dream is just like making coding content so that I can keep working on the things that I really love to do. But, you know, if there's no money on that, then maybe I'll do something else. I don't really, my goal isn't really to make money in general. I just kind of want to, so size is going to be 3, and then the byte size is then 3 times size of float. I think that's how we're doing it. Seen the channel made me when daily uploads for 5 years. Full on leak code. No, I haven't seen that channel. Even working full time as the time becomes more precious for you, you start to work on personal things even more often. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know, I don't have the best track record in working with at full-time jobs, to be honest. So stride is the size of the whole thing, so I kind of need to know that beforehand, I guess, which is kind of annoying. I don't know, I've never had trouble staying busy when, you know, not doing anything. I'm always kind of working on something, or else I start thinking too much, to be honest. And then the offset was that. Okay. Dev workers are the most socially awkward creatures, like myself. Yeah, I might, I might try that. Yeah, I mean, I figured I would just like try going in with the whole working online thing in terms of oh, is my mic too loud or something? Sorry. I'm not going to not gonna lie to you. I have done the titles. I've started making the titles like this because I noticed that they did well. Since I ever got my new mic, I've been abusing the ASMR titles. Okay, so this should, now we should just be able to copy this down. This is a lot of code though that we're copying. Sorry if you came here for ASMR. I can try to like make some, you know, noises. What are we making here exactly? We are making a, we are also outside, so believe it or not, it did rain and there were like rain sounds when I did set up, and then it stopped. So that was, I was like really looking forward to all the rain sounds. But we are making a 3D game engine, and this refactor is for users basically packing their own byte arrays for draw calls. As a dev, I can maybe contribute with suggestion why I would have watched you. Most dev channels are bad because the dev is not dev. Oh, thank you. I mean, that's the hope about it, is that I'm good enough at it that the content kind of eventually pays for itself. This is kind of like ridiculous though. Like, we can be 100% honest about it. This is kind of absurd. I kind of wish that this wasn't the case, that we didn't have to do this. This is what it's gonna look like though, even if we do it in a JSON. But I kind of have to, let me try this. It would basically be the same thing as this. I just have this as a, oh gosh. I'm realizing now that I would have to actually like manually calculate all the byte offsets here. Very recent popular format is having fast phase vids with maybe some devlogger teaching long vids. Yeah, I kind of wanted to make some shorter videos that were more kind of like fast-paced, informative. Streamer is a C dev. Thanks, Richard. I appreciate that. I love C. Coding it like this is basically just doing the JSON anyway. So, I mean, it's basically gonna be the same thing anyway, but yeah. Oh gosh, this is annoying actually. Because I have to do the offset every time as well. Hey, what's up, Adam? How are you doing? So the size is always going to be multiplied by the byte size, so this is kind of annoying, yeah. What's stopping me from doing both types of content? Nothing. Nothing at all. I just like going live, you know? Because I get to get bullied by Arya. It's just something that I really enjoy doing. Eventually I'm gonna remember what the index is. Is the index the... Yeah, the index has to be just the count up. So this is going to be literally 1, 2, 3. But in all seriousness, I do want to do more short videos. I just have to spend some time. I already have ideas for it, but also I'm just not that great at video editing, so it's something that I have to set some time aside to figuring out. I also kind of really dislike the newer YouTube kind of content where they like have like GIFs and like stuff going on in the back room. For loop it? That's a good question. The thing is, the problem is that these aren't the same size, right? So you could do it for the index, right? But the issue is that all of these have different amounts, and so you have to manually do the offsets. There's no way around it. So yeah, this is kind of painful. Why OpenGL instead of Vulkan? It wasn't like a decision like that I weighed both of them and then I was like, oh, Vulkan is better, so I'll do Vulkan. It was more like everybody was telling me to do OpenGL, and OpenGL was super simple, and so I did OpenGL. But I think Vulkan is probably the future, like if you want to get into the industry, or if you're like, you really want to maximize performance, then Vulkan's probably the way to go. But it is very, very difficult, and a lot of pipeline that you have to set up before you get stuff on the screen. So 3, 2, this is 1. I wish I could for loop this. That would be very, very... Oh, see the rain. The rain, there we go. If you hate video editing, you can look into Motion Canvas, basically creating videos with code. Never used it, but I heard good things about it. Okay, I'll check it out. Thanks, Arya. Thank you. I will definitely check that out. See? You already earned your $1. Have you ever watched Coding Jesus? Yeah. Yeah, I think that he makes really good honestly, he's taught me some of his stuff, like his videos with his other developers and stuff have kind of, it's really good to solidify some stuff in my brain, you know? Like, I know, like, you know, the default types and stuff in C, but it's awesome to watch his interviews because I'm like, oh, so that is something, you know, that's correct, you know. Oh, Aria is now non-profit, right? Right. We have to do this setup every time. Yeah, this isn't the most interesting. Apologize. Okay. Very big portion of math prog videos on YouTube. Man, okay, I'll take a look. I'll take a look at it. We have to count up, right? So this is just 2. Let's just do this and not be stupid about it. Divisor here is a thing, and that's 1. The index is... I did change the index on this, right? Okay, I did. You just know that I'm gonna mess these up, like seriously. It's like this is the most bug-prone thing in the world. Don't listen to Aria. Aria's a scammer. What's up, Penty? How are you doing? Nice to see you again. So offset is 0. Okay. This is all float, so this is 3, and we're good, and then we put a divisor of 1 on that. Oh wait, I miscounted, there's 3. It's okay, don't freak out, don't freak out. There's 3. We can do it. I actually think Python is a pretty cool language. Hot take, sorry. Aria, close your ears. Size 3. Oh right, I forgot to do the offsets. If you set a parameter and a function to an empty list by default. Rather code in Bash than Python. Right. I feel like I did this wrong. I feel like I did it wrong. Hold on, let me check this. Right, I forgot the last offset. Wait. One, two, three, there's 4. There's 4. There's 4. I knew it. Road rage ASMR? Was there a car? Does the last one have a divisor? I forget. Oh, the first one doesn't have a divisor. Okay. And then the last one is the offset of t. It has a size of 1. Okay. Oh man, I just know that I'm gonna mess up some of this. I just have a feeling about it. I'm also like listening to some B-sides here that I haven't heard before. They're pretty good, but I kind of want this today. Divisor 0, index 0. Right, this is just a dummy, so we don't even have to care about this. The stride is size of. I don't even know what happens if you do that. That would be pretty funny. Once created Unreal Engine library that allowed me to communicate with my Python script in UDP. In Python, I recreated Unreal API, allowing me to set up Unreal Engine. Literally just expose Unreal API function dynamic typecasting. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Python is a great language for fast iteration. That's that then. I'm pretty sure that that's just that. You know what I realized we haven't been doing is the names. So I have to do that. What was the first one? Oh, don't make me. I'm like 90% sure it's geometry. Let me make sure that we're not forgetting anything else. We have the trip count, the vertex size. Is the size the stride, basically? I feel like that's got to be the same thing. I think that I made the same variables multiple times. Yeah, you should totally make that a thing. Like 90% sure that I meant for that to be a thing. The singer from Slowdive strangely sounds like the singer from a Fleet Foxes. I just kind of realized that. Oh yeah, back to my I've got to stop losing my train of thought today, but back to the weird texts I've been getting lately. I got another weird text, and it said, It said just hello with a capital H, which was just horrifying. I really don't know what it's about, all of that, but alright, I also have to make sure that we're calling assign VBO data when I need to do that. I think that we can just keep that function call as a part of the thing, but yeah, I think that we can just do that. Wait, am I not missing something here? Create a new VAO binding? I kind of just forgot to... Oh no, I did that. I forgot to copy it this time though. Alright, peace out, Lloyd. Thanks for stopping by. This is just going to be one again. I'm pretty sure it's 3 floats. That means that the size is 3 and this is 3 and then the stride is correct and then... That's a good question, Alex. I definitely would like to get a split keyboard. Maybe I'll build one of these days. I totally would probably really enjoy it. Yeah, we have to make sure to keep that call in there. This is 3. We can just do size of editor selection. Do you think I'll be able to learn OpenGL by just following tutorials? It seems pretty overwhelming, especially because I've never worked with such a low-level language. 100%. 100%. The Learn OpenGL tutorials are just amazing, and it's honestly super approachable. The tutorials are pretty much just you follow step by step by step, and they tell you what everything else it is, you know. I also recommend just trying to do a project alongside of it. My first OpenGL project was a spinning cube, and then I eventually just like moved towards 2D stuff with like chess. I wanted to make a chess game and stuff like that. I don't have to write like multiple hundreds of lines of code to render a triangle like in Vulkan. Yeah, Vulkan is quite painful. Oh, you're making a top-down 2D fishing game. That's awesome. I love fishing games. I wish that there were more of them. I love the idea of fishing games for sure. 3, this is a float. 0 offset. 3, 3. Just making sure that this is correct. Okay. So we have... Let me make sure that I did the stride correctly. Have I played web fishing? No, I haven't, but I saw it. Have you? I'd probably enjoy it. It did seem a very fun game. I'm trying to think of the last fishing game that I played. I played that weird one, kind of horror game on itch.io that I really liked. Played it with a few friends and it was very relaxing. That's awesome. Right now I'm just prototyping mechanics and ideas I may transfer and make a voxel-based. A voxel-based fishing game would be crazy. Really want to learn about Steam cloud rendering, but I just know I'll end up down the rabbit hole of reading super heavy math papers. Yeah, I don't really know about cloud rendering. I don't know anything about that. But to be honest, I think that you could do it. You seem pretty capable to me, based on what you've posted. The offset is... How long have I been working with opengl C++? This isn't actually C++, this is just C. But I've been working with it for maybe 6 months to a year, somewhere in there, off and on. Hey man, I tried Helix and I'm now using it as mainly as terminal text editor. That's awesome. That's awesome. I love Helix. It's pretty awesome. It's great, really intuitive. Still didn't read its guides, but I know how to use it. Yeah, it's very, very intuitive, especially with the command palette and everything. It's very, very easy to do stuff with. Okay. We look to be good here. Oh wait, I'm forgetting actually. I need to create new attribs for all of these. I kind of forgot about that. About these calls. I still need to do these calls because I'm not actually making the attributes. I mean, I could just actually loop through them, to be honest, and then do that later. Hey, what's up? Crew kick. Sorry if I said it wrong. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Wait, actually, yeah. Let's just loop through it. How do I make my IDE look like that? This is a text editor called Helix, and you can do exclamation point theme in the chat to get my theme. It's pretty much just standard Helix. The config doesn't have anything fancy in it, so. Thanks, Akira, I appreciate that. More rage marching? Well, thanks, I'll take a look at this video. More ray marching. Does it ever end? You're probably asking, why do this here? Why not just loop through all of them at the end? Well, it's because I don't want to have to rebind. Because for every binding, we automatically bind. It's more efficient to do it this way, actually. I was planning to write a GUI text editor to learn C and then rewrite it in C++. Forgot about. Try again soon, probably. That's awesome. I've heard that it's a really great project to do a text editor. I don't really know very much about how they're made, but I heard that that's a pretty great project to do. This album's a lot better than I remember it being, to be honest. Dream game is something about making steam machines. I don't know how you do some fluid sit inside the pipes. Not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure either. There are a few games out there that definitely have similar things. I don't know. I've never played it, but maybe Hydroneer, I think is the name of the game. Neovim? No, this is Helix actually. Do exclamation point theme to get my theme. Okay, so we're almost at the end here. This is... Oh, I just got really discouraged actually. I shouldn't have looked at that. Teardown is something like this. It looks really cool, but I have no clue how it works. But yeah, Teardown, I think it has its own game engine, right? Maybe. I know that I tried to play it and it did not perform well on my computer at all. The car engine YouTube channel where he created a Steam simulation side project. Yeah. I have to count all of these. You're kidding me? No, you can just check the offset as 9, so that's 10. I didn't play Hydroneer either, but it doesn't really simulate the fluid. I see. It's basic math. Ooh, Helix looks cool. So it's like Vim and all. Yeah, it's pretty similar to Vim. It's a lot simpler to learn in my opinion because you've got all these command palettes and stuff that you know, brings up whatever the commands are. So it's very, very easy to learn. You've been considering learning Neovim. Kind of intimidated though. You should not be intimidated at all. I think that the community around it is definitely, they're intimidating about it. It really is not that complicated at all. really is very, very simple. It just takes a few hours to start getting used to it, but once you get used to it, it's pretty awesome. It's also just like not for everybody. I mean, it's up to you if you want to learn it. But yeah, don't be intimidated. The Vim community loves intimidating people, that's for sure. Not something that I enjoy doing though. These are all GL floats, so this is 2224, okay. That's correct. I'm also planning on learning NeoVim and Tmux, but only for low-level coding, since for coding web apps, what I do, it doesn't really work out. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know that much about it, but yeah, for whenever I was doing like web stuff, I definitely just used VS Code. Because the ecosystem or whatever. Let me figure this out for a second. 2, 2, 2. The first one I did, I put as 3, which is incorrect, which is why I'm off. Offset is 2, 4. Then this should be 6. The size of this one is 4. I am correct. Okay. Just making sure, because if I make a typo here, that would be pretty hard to track down. 100% very hard to track down. Okay. 10, 14, 16. Size is 4, size is 4, index 5. Okay. So it doesn't support a plugin for inlaying. Oh, I don't know about inlaying. Got this video in my recommended yesterday night, last night. This guy, I don't know, maybe you guys got it in your recommended too, but he was talking about, like, the title of the video was "I created a new internet" or something. Pretty funny. I kind of looked at the webpage and it looked a bit pretentious and militant. But I kind of wish that somebody would create a, I don't know. Google is quite an interesting company. Was it really in Rust? I don't really trust that I did this correctly. I have to take a look at this. Hold on. 6 would be 7. 6 is Used to make Windows optimizing tools. Yeah, I don't really know anything about the guy. I just got it in my recommended. Eight. So this is just one more, apparently. Do I use OBS for streaming? For some reason, OBS doesn't work that well in my setup. Yeah, I do use OBS. I couldn't use the Flatpak OBS for whatever reason, so I just used the Ubuntu distribution OBS. I don't know why it doesn't work that well in your setup. Maybe I'd be able to help you if you had any specific info about that. You're new to C. Why do I use typedef? Why not just say struct by itself? Typedef. If you make a struct, it's not available to other files. It doesn't get globalized, I guess you'd say. If you typedef something, it is basically saying this is where the definition of this lives, you know? Typedef struct in C is the same thing as struct in C++. Oh, wow. Wouldn't know that. I don't know C++. What's my distro? It's Mint. Yeah, exported is kind of a good word for it. The way I like to think about it is it doesn't really go anywhere. It's just telling the compiler this is where the definition of this lives and where to look for it. That's why it gives you an error. For example, if we have another typedef of the same name. And I think it's due to NVIDIA Linux not behaving well. I actually do have NVIDIA Linux, so using Wayland. Look at my log. Oh yeah, I had a similar problem, but what I ended up having to do, well, to be honest, I just have a really bad GPU, so it might just be a different thing. But make sure you have NVENC. Pipewire constantly restarting the video stream. Ooh. Have you tried like resetting your Pipewire config files? Because I had to do that recently to get it working. I just basically, this is unsigned int before I forget. Unsigned int, I feel like this should be unsigned byte. Huh. I probably meant to put this GL inside byte to be 100% honest, so we're just going to correct that. Wayland NVIDIA is kind of a mess. Oh, I wouldn't know, I'm an X11. Golang is weird. Public-private distinction. Uppercase method structs are exported in lowercase. Wow, that's really weird, yeah. Yeah, I actually heard about that. Somebody talking about that. It's weird. NVENC is the worst performance. Ooh. Yeah, I'm not sure. That might be like some driver issue, if that's the case. Because I know you have a really good GPU, so it's probably not. We gotta make sure that this isn't size of float. This is size of... Okay. Never reset your configs. Yeah, I mean that's what I had, but I had a different issue. It's just my audio wasn't working, so that's what I had to do. But make sure four. Oh, I messed up. Oh yeah, this messed up. Because this should be higher then. I still have the original code. Let me see where this is. Just go to the source. I see. Yeah, the include system in C is definitely not ideal. I definitely prefer Rust architecture to it. This would be our UI VAO, if I can find it. There it is. On 5, we go for 2. Yeah, it was... Okay, good thing I caught that. And then we just have 1s all the way down, and that is an unsigned int. Unsigned int is... Let me take a look at the documentation for that. I just want to make sure. I think that that's 32 bytes, but I have to actually look that up. I know unsigned byte is 8. Unsigned int. Yeah, it is 32, okay. So now I have to actually go into this function here and where's the function that does this? Oh no, I don't have a function that does that, right? Because I'm doing it inline, right? Doing the byte size inline. I'll do some more tinkering, but someone did recommend me GPU screen recorder. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm not on Wayland, so my advice is pretty much useless, probably. The stride is going to be size of, not size of. Don't do that. Okay, and then this is float to float. Yes. Yeah, I wouldn't really recommend the open source driver. It can mess some stuff up for sure. At least as far as so it happened with me. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, also make sure you can install drivers and it'll like not install certain parts or whatever, you might be missing something. So you might want to just like grep all your NVIDIA stuff and just make sure you have it all and it's all the same version. Because I had some problem at some point where I upgraded drivers and it only like upgraded half of them or something. How many words per minute do I type? I used to type like more than 100, but now probably a lot less. To be honest, I have really bad coordination, so I always have had like just problems with typing accurately. I can type fast, but accurately is difficult. Let's check for NVIDIA utils package. Oh, I see. Let's see. Okay, so this is 222. 2 sounds good to me. Oh yeah, let's make sure that we're doing the offsets. Hey, what's up, Lon? How are you doing? I think the rain went away. I'm doing good. It's a rainy day today and the cat is not bothering me, so I'm having a good time. It is pretty repetitive today what we're doing. We are just basically setting up all of our VAOs in a different format now. Why am I doing a game engine? Because I find game engines to be really fascinating. I love old game engines like the Quake engine. I think that they're just kind of works of art in their own, you know. So I always wanted to make something like that, you know. It's just always been, I always wanted to make something great, you know. So trying to make something great. This is 4. Honestly, I have no idea what this vertex params do. Are you defining shapes or something? No. So, what VAOs are is they are layouts for buffers that we pass to the GPU. So basically what this is every single vertex inside of this buffer, this is the stride, right? So it's going to be this size, which is the size of our UI vertices, right? So it's saying, it's telling, we pass a buffer that's just a generic byte buffer, right? And it's a uint8t buffer to the GPU, and then what it does is it splits it up, and we are able to use that data in the shader, right? So if we go to any vertex shader, that's how we get all of this information in here. For example, our position, normal, UVs, texture layers, or our light map UVs. This is the same thing as this. This is the same exact thing. So that's basically what it is. So what I'm doing now is I'm basically creating a system where users would be able to do this at runtime, make their own buffer layouts based on the size and stride, so that we will defining interfaces, rewriting that right now. Yeah, so that's basically what I'm doing is I'm making, I'll show you the structure of it, right? So we have a buffer of layouts. These are the layouts. So this is a VAO layout, and then we have attributes in here, right? And so when we go to add something to a specific draw buffer, all we have to do is look at the layout, and then we know how to pack that data, so that when we draw it to the GPU, then all we do is just send the buffer with the data that we packed in here, and it's all like pointer arithmetic right here. Is that we just multiply the index times the stride, and then add the offset, and so we know where to move the pointer to, so that we just put in the data into a generic uint8t byte buffer, so that it's all generic, so that if a user is using the engine, they can have their attribute data however they want it. If they want more attributes for their geometry or any entity or whatever, you know, that's the goal. But you know, this code that I'm writing right now is just basically copying the raw OpenGL calls, right? So this is how we used to have it. All of our hard-coded OpenGL calls. Now we're just kind of abstracting it away, and all of this data will be read from JSON, but I'm just kind of hard-coding it right now just to make sure that it works. So that's kind of... Making an engine is a lot of baby steps and refactors. It's not something you can just do all in one go, you know? Or maybe you could do it all in one go, but I'm not smart enough to figure out how to do that. So I always have to, you know, take my baby steps, figure stuff out as I go along, you know? But yeah, this is all going to be JSON, essentially, is a user will be able to put all this data into JSON, read it in, and then this will, you'll have linked it to the material type. This is actually Helix, not Vim. What's up? Understood like 40% of that, but it's so fascinating to learn. It's like there's a whole world to explore. Yeah, there is. It's definitely its own kind of thing. I still am learning stuff all the time, and feel free to join the Discord. We kind of have a lot of resources in there, and we talk a lot about it, about the new things that we learn about it all the time. So let's just make this size of text vertex before I mess up. But yeah, I'm definitely no expert when it comes to it. I definitely learn things as I go along. The copy and paste work I'm doing here is testing if my generic system already works. Yeah, basically. Well, all of this is all of the default stuff. So for our text vertices, for drawing text to the screen, this is what the layout looks like, right? And so for our UI, this is what our layout looks like. So what I'm doing now is I'm basically just doing the default vertices that are going to be loaded in when the engine starts up, no matter what, right? And then added on to this, we're going to build a JSON parser to take in whatever user-defined layouts they're going to use. But the difficulty here is that basically the idea is that OpenGL, or the GPU, needs a VAO layout when you draw up, right? So the thing that we're refactoring towards is every render group is going to be generic, right? And it's going to have on it a VAO index so that it knows which format the buffer is in. Do I ever spend time thinking of how I'd abstract something first, or always just code until you get the desired outcome and then refactor abstract afterwards? It's all like a I've refactored the refactor so many times. It's kind of like baby steps, because if I tried to make the kind of the big picture engine all at once, I would have gotten overwhelmed and not been able to do anything, you know? It's all kind of baby steps. So it's all baby steps. Size of float. That's hilarious. Okay. Just making sure that we're doing this correctly. But yeah, this isn't the most fascinating stuff that I'm doing right now, but to be honest, this is kind of what making an engine kind of looks like. It isn't all it's a lot of busy work and abstractions that you have to make, you know. The attrib count is 2. We have to still do the VBO data. Size of float times 4. Oh yeah. No, I'm correct. Okay. I'm always someone who I like plan things out, kind of, right? And then I start a refactor, and then like this is what I did last stream, what I'm kind of deleting now, because I figured out a better way to do it. But yeah, this is my giant kind of list of things in this refactor that I'm working on. And some of the stuff we've gone back and changed now, but yeah, so it's a lot of redoing things and learning from your mistakes. The song has some great cellos in it, and it's reminding me of this cello piece that I wrote when I went to school, and the person who performed it was for this class, you know, and he was really mad about it because he was forced to perform it. And it has these fourths in it that were really, really hard to play, you know. And I ran it by my my kind of like mentor or whatever, if it was going to be too hard to play, and my mentor was like, "Oh yeah, this guy's a really great player. Of course, he's gonna be able to. It's a hard piece, but he can play it." And I remember outside after the performance was done, he was like smoking a cigarette, and he just like he gave me this look. It was like, oh man, I've never seen somebody look that angry. Sometimes you learn things the hard way, and that was a hard lesson for me to learn, that sometimes you gotta write easy music. And sometimes you gotta write easy code. Wait, this is 2. Yeah, this is 2, I'm correct. So overwhelmed by all this, but I'll start from client logic, then move it to back end. Right now I'm working on a project where the next thing I'll be implementing is a block layout system like Notion has. Nesting, polymorphic models, link cut trees. Yeah, take it step by step. To be honest, I don't really understand any of that stuff. Polymorphic models, wow. That sounds crazy. We are almost done here. After this gets done, we are going to try and complete the material stuff so that we can get to a point where we can test this stuff out, because I have a feeling that it's going to break everything. This is size 1, so this is size 2, and then this is size 2 as well. And then the last one is size 1. Kind of just repeating what I managed to juice out from AI, but polymorphic models in the sense that one database table is used for every component, like button, text, or image. I see. After doing some more log looking, whenever I record, journal is full of... yeah, that's a really weird error. Yeah, that's definitely a Hyperland thing, huh? Hopefully I counted the number of attributes there. Yeah, I did. Hopefully we did this correctly. Honestly, if we made a mistake here, it would be pretty bad, but there is just a chance that we make a mistake on a certain layout that isn't even very important, like our debug or whatever, and then we're probably fine anyway. So what am I doing? Size 3 is correct, and then our very last one. Who thought that we would get here? Not me. Okay. Okay. Now I have to figure out, I'm pretty sure that we had our material definitions, our default materials down here. So I'm just going to make sure that we have layouts for all of this and that they're called the exact same thing. It should be the exact same thing. Oh, interesting. I wonder what VAO layout that actually uses. I'm not really sure. I have to look at the shader. Oh, this is who knows? Good question. I have to actually go to that render loop. Full screen. Okay, so now we have all of our default stuff. Good. Now what? That's a good question. Well, we have to link these somehow. Yeah, I'm wondering, I think everything, well, first of all, we have to define this differently. So now we aren't going to have a union here because that's going to slow us down. I don't know. I've gone into the whole tagged union thing, and I did a lot of research on tagged unions, and it turns out that they're wildly inefficient. So, I kind of wish that there was a thing in C that was kind of like a, I don't know. It wasn't an if statement, you know, at the end of the day. Everything is either is a switch case underneath. So I wish that there was a thing that maybe took an offset of bytes. Like if you had a size T here with a certain number of bytes, basically, and then this is the offset of if you have like bytes and then another size t for a size, right? And then you just go the byte offset and then the size of whatever you're looking for instead of having a union. I wonder if that would be more efficient, but I don't think that there is anything like that. Basically a union without you having to explicitly say what is in the union during runtime, you know? Anyway, it's going to be a resizable generic vertex. How long have I been live? 2 hours? Oh, wow. Wow. I better end soon or else Arya's gonna be mad at me. I didn't even write any real code today. You can never be mad at me? Oh. Is that so? So, as far as like refactoring to have a UBO instead of we aren't going to do that yet, because I would have to really investigate how to inject defines into a shader during runtime, which would be, I think it's probably very difficult to do, so doesn't this have to be a switch case based on the incoming type? Yeah. Yeah, so the idea here was to make uniforms that are stored on the uniform struct rather than just being pointers. So my idea was to make both dynamic and static versions of these, so that some of them are stored and on the struct, and we therefore optimize because we're cutting out a layer of indirection. I think that you just need a different. I kind of don't want to do a different type. I think we just take in a boolean. Taking a boolean for if it's dynamic or not. Right? And so the function is also going to change. So if it's dynamic, then we will bind the function that this is not going to take in this. This is going to take in the coding is crazy. Yeah, it is. Val dot. So this is going to be the val dot data. So basically what this is doing, we can inline this too. What this is doing is we have to bind a generic function that calls this other function. Unfortunately, there's no way for us to actually bind this because we need to allocate enough space for the same exact function signature. So that's why we have to have this. I tried every single possible way to actually get the GLEW call in there, but unfortunately it's going to end up like this. And then the u.data is going to equal u.value is going to equal the data. We have to put val.data. And then for this one, we are going to straight up, we basically put, because this data is just going to be static, so then this goes to int, right? We can also have different types in here, but to be honest, I think that we don't use all of these, so it's kind of going to be a pain to write all of that out, so I figured we would just we're going to call it that. Believe it or not, this is just the way you have to do it if you want to be 100% efficient, or you can of course do it with the giant UBO, which is how Godot does it. This is the Godot codebase. They do it in a giant UBO, but we aren't really there infrastructure wise, I think, to implement that. So. That's the high testosterone motorcyclist that we were talking about. We don't really need to implement every single thing here, but audible T levels, yeah. I live kind of on a big road, so I get my fair share of them.